Hey, what's up, guys? So let's dive into the story. Now, first of all, before diving into the story, this story I think is centered around one question. What was that question? Financial decisions from a marriage perspective, let's say between a husband and a wife. How important is communication about maybe major financial steps? How important is it to communicate between yourselves about these things? So let's jump into the story. So basically, this story, a highlight of it is the husband, he wants to co-sign the mortgage of his mom, but his wife doesn't want him to do that. So that's where the whole ball of contention is over here. So let's jump into the story. Should I co-sign my mother's mortgage? My wife currently owns the townhouse we live in, and we plan on buying a home in the next couple years as the family grows. I do not have a mortgage under my name. My mother does not meet the income threshold, even when including my little brother's income. Red flag number one. My mother was divorced from my dad in 2012 and she remarried 2 years ago. Ever since, I have always tried to help my mom whenever I could. She never asks for money and I give her cash when I can. My husband is on his way from the Caribbean. Once his visa is approved, oh, he remarried. I mean, she remarried someone from overseas. And probably in these 2 years, this person has not been here because I assume, and our assumption is right, that this is in the United States. So his mom is married to someone who is in the Caribbean. Probably she went over there to the Caribbean, met, fell in love. We know that, we know how the story goes. And eventually, after 2 years, this husband is coming over to to America because his visa status has finally been approved. So, all right, let's continue to see. She asked me recently if it is possible to co-sign for her if my wife and I agree to. I would if it doesn't hurt our chances to buy a house. Response from my wife was no, with the letters. My wife does not want me to co-sign at all. I am the oldest of three. My younger sister bought a house last year, co-signed my uncle a long time ago, and all the payments were made on time, except for the last payment, as he had a seller lined up that fell through, killed by credit for a few months. All right, red flag number two. Red flag number one was this: this guy has stated his mom does not have the income level even to be approved for the house. Adds his younger brother to the list. Both of them together still cannot get approved on the house. It means the money they are making cannot even afford for the house. The bank looks at it and like, nah, I don't think you're not qualified to get this mortgage plan. Your uncle, who probably, as you highlight, family member as well, as you highlighted, a family member as well helped you out until eventually you got to the level, or you helped him out by co-signing the property he got. He made all his payments. But the thing was, when he did not make payments, the final payments, it eventually messed up your credit, which is normal. And after that, you seem to have not yet logically assessed the situation to see why your wife says no, especially with plans to buy a house in a year's time. Man, I don't even think why this should be having this is a conversation that should be had. But anyway, let's wrap it up. I am hoping to be able to buy a home under my wife's name, so it can be a win-win for everyone. I make close to 200k a year. Dang, hey, this changes everything. This actually changes everything. And I have a great credit score. When it comes to our money, my wife does not like when I give to charity, money to help family out, or a homeless person on the street. I feel like just taking every single thing I just recorded and disregarding it. I come from a family where it's normal for family members to help each other out financially. All right, now as one who comes from an African family, being family oriented is one of those major values which you grow up. Because how do you grow up with it? Right from a young age, for example, I lived with cousins at home. So let's say you live in a home where you might not be rich, but you guys are doing richly well. It means on a day to day, financially, you can take care of yourself and you can take care of maybe one or two extra people. Now, it's normal where we come from that those within your family, be it on your mom's side or on your dad's side, who probably their parents cannot take care of them that much, will eventually send their kids over sometimes to your home. It might start like they're coming over for a holiday, then eventually the holiday just eventually becomes a come and never going back situation, which is fine. It's cool because you look at it and you're like, it's family, more time with family. So generally, you grow up with family oriented value where your goal as much as possible is the better you can become, the better you get, whether it is financially, that's using society or whatever it is, you try as much as possible to better the life of your family members in one way or the other. Added to that, in the most simplest level, it is if a family member is in a sport, and in the African culture, it's not just your nuclear family, it goes right up to your extended family. It can be a burden. Kid you not, it can be a burden, but it is part of the human experience. We believe it is part of the values that make us much more human, not to be very, very money oriented, not to value money over the lives of other individuals. First of all, not to value money over the lives of family members. But when you see a family member in a situation where you know you have the means to be able to help this person out, then you help the person out. If you see also, we extend it now to people on the streets. If you see people whom you know, you can help them out in whatever little way you can, and eventually help them out. The first thing I'll say is, from this story, it is very clear your wife, this is not a value which she, this is not something she values. Because I think for a person making $200,000 a year, which is freakingly a lot of money, it is a lot of money. Then it's practically, it makes sense that as much as possible, when you can help someone out, then eventually help someone out. If she highlights, you literally just pointed out, if a homeless person is on the street, this woman still does not want you to help. So how do you eventually think she's eventually going to want you to help your mom? I know many people highlight this concept of like, oh, if homeless people on the streets, there are a lot of things they could be doing. Why are they on the streets and all of the rest? Many times, I think I once started adopting that mindset. Then I realized, you don't even think that these people want to be there. Let's assume that if it's the drug addicts and all of the rest, yes, they do want to be there and all of the rest. But it does not kill you. It does not kill you to sometimes pay $1 or sometimes pay a meal. Just do it and get off with it. Many people will be like, oh, if they have, I heard this comment once, which said, oh, if they have the mouth to be able to say, oh, please, can you help me with something? Or please for $1, then they can also say, oh, welcome to McDonald's and get paid. At the end of the day, if we keep looking at it from that perspective, then these guys, many times, these guys will go hungry and might eventually die out, which is not something that we want. At the end of the day, just be kind to the least and even to the great. We just never know. But anyway, let's see you guys' comments. Beno says, that's definitely something your wife can veto. You could mess up both of your lives. I do understand the concept here. Looking at it logically, I think this woman not even being your mom, not even being able to have the means. She does not even have money that the bank looks at and is like, all right, you qualify for this mortgage. So she shouldn't even be wanting to take a mortgage plan at this time. It's a bad financial situation for herself as well. And even for her husband who is not even here. So this guy is not even working. The husband will still come. He doesn't have a job yet. So at this point, your mom is going to be alone having to pay this. And if she doesn't pay it, you are eventually going to have to eventually fill in because you co-signed her. And if you don't pay, it's eventually going to ruin both of your credit lines, which is eventually going to ruin your ability to eventually get a house. In making financial decisions, a rule that should guide you, if you can't pay for it sustainably, don't even get it. Sometimes you can need something, sometimes you can be in need, but if you're not financially competent to be able to handle this, even long term, if it's a financial decision which you think is going to have a major impact in terms of whether it's your credit score or even the money you've saved up and all of that, then my guy, no matter the kind of pressure you're under, don't go for it. Let's do two more. Jay says, just to answer your question, no, you cannot co-sign. This is an area where your wife gets involved. No, she's right. I understand you want to help your mother, but it's all one final one. Let's get this straight. You already had a bad experience as a co-signer, and your wife is against it. You see nothing wrong with it. Exactly. Let's end there. I think the major lessons that can be learned out of this story I've already learned. But anyway, what do you guys think? Drop your comments down in the box. Do you guys think he's right in wanting to still considering to co-sign with every single thing which he has already stated? Alright. Like, subscribe, share the video. We drop videos like this every single time. Alright. Big ups, man.